Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
Hello, friends, and welcome to our ECL Elite Division semifinals coverage right here at twitch.tv/reactio media. My name is Brandon Bigsby, better known as B Major, and folks, today we will have our first finalist in the Elite Division officially confirmed. Last Dance, the #1 seed, coming into today with a 2-0 series lead over the #4 seed EXEN. We saw those two play during our coverage today, and we'll see the rest of that series meet its conclusion here today. And obviously Mythics versus Parasite, them being in a 1-1 series, we'll see the rest of that coverage on Wednesday. But as we mentioned, EXEN and Last Dance are focused here today, and two teams that have so many storylines coming into the series. But as we saw during our coverage last night, Last Dance dominant in both games 1 and 2, as we give you a quick look at the bracket to show you how things look heading into today's games. And as we mentioned, Last Dance, a 2-0 series lead. I mean, a 5-1 win in game 1, a 7-3 win in game 2. EXEN in game number 2, rather competitive in terms of the stats, actually had more shots on net and more time in the offensive zone than Last Dance had, but it just felt like Last Dance were in that extra gear. They had hit that extra level that EXEN have to find a way to reach in these games today. And again, being down by 2 already coming into today, this game 3 coming up, gonna be a must win. And the game 4, arguably just as important. Not gonna want to go down 3-0 or 3-1 against a team like Last Dance that really are looking to put their way into that finals series. So gonna be interesting to see where things go from there. EXEN has been able to defy large odds already this season. We'll talk about that a little bit more later on in the show, but Last Dance continuing their dominance, that 5-series win over Totori in the last round, looking to make quick work of EXEN as well to punch their ticket into that final round. Let's take a quick look at the team match between these two sides to show you how these two have matched up so far in the playoffs. And again, a bit of a different look than what we saw yesterday. EXEN going from pretty respectable numbers to 16 goals for and 22 against. Last Dance, I mean, hiking up their numbers compared to what we saw yesterday. 30 goals for, 12 goals against. And it's interesting because the thing with EXEN is, like we mentioned, game 2, in terms of what they were able to do, so much closer than game number 1. They got the shots, they got the offensive zone time. It's just every time EXEN seemed to find opportunities, they seem to find a way to score on them. And now it's despite Kazu putting up a couple of really good performances for this EXEN team in net. So, you know, these stats probably not showing all of what EXEN has been able to do, probably hasn't shown the quality that they have played with, but again, when you play these top seeds, you just have to be a little bit better than what your normal standard typically is. EXEN gonna have to reach that level here in these games today. Now, let's meet the starting lineups for both of these two teams. Starting out with EXEN over on the left side, the #4 seed. The same lineup for both of these two teams we saw last night. Hermu at left wing, Picardy at center, and Krike at right wing. While back on the fence, it's Domi at left D and Wenger at right D. Well, in between the pipes, arguably the best player for EXEN in the first 2 games yesterday, Kazu, starting once again in net. While for Last Dance, Puanzo at left wing, Eki at center, and Nikki Dangles at the right wing side, the leading point getter out of any player in the playoffs so far this season, hoping to continue his hot run of form here today. Back on defense, it's the longtime pairing of Landstrom and Yamal on the left and right side, while in goal, Hanselinho, who we talked about Kazu. Hanselinho, one of the legends of the ECL, continuing to prove why he is one of the best goalies in all of Europe. So both teams sporting the same six that we saw yesterday. But in case you weren't with us yesterday, we're going to take it position by position and show you the specific numbers and matchups with each one, starting out with the center matchup. Picardy for EXEN going up against Eki for Last Dance. Picardy yesterday, a little bit quieter, I think, compared to what we saw from him in the quarterfinals against Mustakulta. But the thing about Picardy is that he has stepped up in the playoffs before. We've mentioned that a former ECL Elite Division champion won it with tunnel vision just 2 seasons ago, this year ago, as a matter of fact. Was one of their best players in that series and really did step up for them and help them win that title. Don't be surprised if he elevates this game to that extra level here today, as we talked about. Well, Eki on the other side just continues to be nothing short of phenomenal. Had a hat trick in game number 1, made multiple plays in game number 2 to create goal scoring opportunities. He just seems to always find a way to continue at this level. It doesn't matter what his line mates are. It doesn't matter what the team is around him. It doesn't matter what the opponent is. Eki always seems to be ever so consistent, a high-end two-way center. He has been that so far in what could very well be his final playoffs of his ECL Elite Division career. You know, him mentioning that this is going to be his last ride, at least for the time being. So one of the best centers in all of Europe, showing why he is one of the best centers of all of Europe. It's going to be fun to see if he can help his team close things out here today. Now the wingers that will be matched up with these two centers to the left and right side. I mean, again, for Last Dance, Puanzo and Nicky Dangles, both of them have been absolutely phenomenal. Puanzo with 13 points, 7 games played. I mean, originally, all of his points were goals in the quarterfinals. He's mixed that in with a few assists here in this series, but stepped up for this team as well, especially in game 2, earning himself a hat trick. And he just continues again to show why he is still one of the better wingers in Europe. You know, he's somebody that's been around for a while, has won championships with Havu, was a part of the kind of merger between Havu and Philadelphia when they became Frölunda and then Strikers. He comes back with this Last Dance team this season after a little bit of time away, and he has been such a healthy addition for this lineup. And then what more is there to say about Nicky Dangles next to him? 21 points in 7 games played, more points than anyone in the playoffs, is one of the leading point getters in the regular season as well. He just continues to be phenomenal, continues to show that he is arguably the best right winger, maybe not just in Europe, but arguably the world, man. I mean, he was the leading point getter in the regular season, led the league in assists, tying with his teammate in Eki. He just continues to step up and play at this high level. There's a reason that the teams he is on always seems to make a championship final. Last Dance 2 wins away from doing that today. Well, over on the other side, Krike a little bit slowed down in the first 2 games yesterday, but was still able to get a couple of goals. He just always seems to find his way to contribute. While Hermu, I think, was arguably the best that we've seen him so far in these playoffs, had 2 goals. In game number 2, was able to create some opportunities. I think those two will be a little bit better today than even what we saw from them yesterday, especially Krike over on that right side, despite commanding so much attention from the defense. So going to be fun to see if those two can elevate a little bit to get their team back into this series. Now back on defense. Defense has been such a critical part of these playoffs, really in each of these series. And both Landstrom and Jamal have been phenomenal. We saw both of them score in game number 2. They've also done a good job of kind of limiting EXEN. In game 1, EXEN only had 6 shots on net. Really were not able to create much of any opportunities in the offensive end. EXEN was able to find their way a little bit in game 2. It was really just the issue of allowing Last Dance to create offensive opportunities. That was the big thing. So Landstrom and Jamal going to have to continue to play the way that they have been, especially with EXEN maybe starting to find a little bit of something on the offensive end, while Domi and Wenger really going to have to step up. Like we mentioned, Last Dance, a total of 12 goals in the first 2 games from yesterday. Those two are really going to have to find a way to shirk things up and try to deny Last Dance of some of those opportunities and deny them of some of those good offensive chances that they've seemed to generate for themselves. Last Dance loves to play that high-end pace. They love to go fast, but they also do it with a mix of patience and making sure they work that puck around and earn that easy opportunity by creating some space and spreading out the defense. So something that both Domi and Wenger are going to have to, keep an eye on and are going to have to stay organized with, but arguably one of the best defensive pairings in the entire division on that EXEN side. They're going to have to prove it here in these games today. And last but not least, the starting goaltenders for both of these two teams. We talked about how amazing Kazu was yesterday. I know his save percentage a little bit lower than what it was coming in, goes from around an 86 save percentage to an 80.7. But if you were with us yesterday, Kazu stats, the eye test is what matters. He was absolutely amazing for this EXEN team. Like I said, I think their best player probably in those first two games. He's going to definitely have to continue that form here today to keep his team alive here in these playoffs. Well, Hanselino continuing his great form, an 85 save percentage, a 1.71 GAA. He just continues to keep it up, right? I mean, Hanselino has been around for years, and it just seems like his form never dips, and it always gets better in the playoffs. So Hanselino, 2 wins away from making it to the Elite Division Finals, a place where it's been a while since he has been. He is really going to want to lock in and try to find a way. Obviously, so many of the storylines surrounding Eki with his announcement. Hanselino, it's been a minute since he has been to an ECL Elite Division Final. He's going to want to step up and make sure he gets back there this time around. As we're just a few minutes away from getting things kicked off for game number 3, a huge game number 3 coming up. Last Dance looking to, pretty much close the door on an EXEN comeback. It would be rather miraculous to see them win 4 straight, especially against the number 1 team in the division and a team in Last Dance that, I mean, I would have to really go back and count if they've lost 4 games in total so far during this season. But, again, this is an EXEN team that have defied odds already this season. They started out their season losing 7 of their first 8 games, and it was the series against Last Dance that was the end of that long, miserable losing stretch they had to kind of endure. And ever since that point, going into this series, EXEN had a record of 21-5-2, including the playoffs. So they have been one of the best teams in the division since suffering that early losing streak. We'll see if they can get back to that here in these games today. But while we do have a few minutes, and while we are waiting for everyone to get things set up and ready to go, we do want to remind you of a couple of deals. Firstly, from our friends over at WellNet. WellNet has a nice little deal going on. If you put in the code SportsGamer1 over at their website, you get a 1-month free trial in WellNet with many amazing exercises, not only from the convenience of your phone, but also from the comfort of your own home. Obviously, not always easy to have to go find a gym and find a time in your schedule. They even have exercises that are specifically curtailed to gamers as well. So if you go over to WellNet's website, use the code SportsGamer1, you get a 1-month free trial. Just give them a nice try, totally risk-free. And again, one of the amazing sponsors that have supported us here at the ECL over the last couple of seasons. So a big thank you to WellNet for their generous support, and make sure you go take advantage of that offer. And we also have a reminder, make sure on Friday to go to sportsgamer.gg, sign up for the Espo Gaming Friday. This is the last one that we will be running. We have our EAFC 1v1 going on. We had NHL 4v4 this past Friday. I know a few players around the community in the Elite Division as well were competing in that. It's totally free to play. It's open to all players in Europe. And not only that, you can even win gift cards in the process, all totally free and available for everyone in the EU to play. So make sure you go to sportsgamer.gg, go to that Espo Gaming Friday, sign up, totally free, and you can win yourself some nice prizes as well. So make sure you take advantage of that, our last tournament. And again, make sure you do go to health.sportsgamer.gg. Use that code SportsGamer1 for a 1-month free trial. And they're not the only deal that we've got going on. Game Changer has a deal going on as well. If you go to GameChangerOfficial.fi and use the code SportsGamer10 at checkout, Game Changer is going to give you a discount on your final purchase. They have all sorts of amazing supplements, whether it's for performance, immunity boost, for sleep, or for focus. They have many different things. It's all at the ease of just 2 capsules a day, and they're all at really good prices as well. It'd be an even better price with that code SportsGamer10 at checkout. So make sure you go to GameChangerOfficial.fi, check out the products that Game Changer has to offer, put in that code at checkout, and get a nice little discount. And again, big thank you to Game Changer for giving that deal for everyone in our community. Both teams ready to go and lined up, as you can see. Last Dance looking to close things out here today. They come in with a 2-0 series lead. We will be watching from their perspective. They're in their home black uniforms, while EXEN in their crisp and clean all white. As they'll start out with possession, and Banger and Domi working in the offensive end. Controlling in a neutral zone right now is Last Dance applying that heavy 5-man trap right at the blue line, as EXEN not going to be able to break it as that pass to Krike leads to an offside call. Let us know in the Twitch chat, who do you think is going to win this one? I think Last Dance is going to take that 3-0 series leaders, this EXEN. make things a little bit interesting and make it 2-1. I feel like that first goal is going to be really important. Last Dance were able to get the first goal each of the first 2 games, and EXEN would kind of find their way back, but never really able to take the lead at any point. Last Dance controlled in the offensive zone right now. Nicky Dangles gives it over at the point. That shot by Kazu. Basketball Kazu earlier was phenomenal in both games yesterday. The stats may not show, but if you look what's on the broadcast, he made stop after stop after stop. Had one sequence where he made about 4 or 5 saves in about a 60 to 90 second span. Denied Eki 2 or 3 times, denied Puanzo on one. As EXEN looking to reward their goaltender a little bit more than what they did yesterday, as EXEN, an errant pass, going to go all the way back to the defensive zone and force them to reset. Domi controlling it, he gives it up to Wenger. Goes back to Domi. Frike moves it over to Hermu. Hermu with the left board takes a big hit there from Yamal. He now has the puck and moves it past the blue line into the offensive zone. Over to Nicky Dangles. He finds Puanzo over at the left wall. Back to Lundstrom at the point. Moving forward, looking for space. Goes to Eki, now to Yamal. Yamal at the right point. Shot on, was blocked in front. Nice defensive play made by Hermu. As Peekity picks off that pass, and now EXEN will look to set up their offense. 11:30 to go in period number 1. Still looking for our first goal here of this game 3. As EXEN have it in the neutral zone and looking to try to get past the trap of Last Dance. They do so here as a backhand shot by Peekity. Is stopped by Hanselino, and he's not going to take any chances. He'll hold on to that puck for the stoppage. So an offensive zone face-off here upcoming for EXEN. Be the left side of Hanselino, Eki, and Peekity. Set for the draw, and it's tied up and found by Puanzo for Last Dance. Battled for over at the boards. Last Dance going to get possession. Nicky Dangles with it, gives it back to Eki. Eki one-time shot there from Puanzo, denied by Kazu. Last Dance still pushing. Nicky Dangles gives it up to Lundstrom at the left point and gets it back. Over to Eki. Eki at the left corner. Up to Lundstrom at the point. Pressured slightly, and EXEN backing off a little bit. Shot there from the point. Another shot. That one stopped by Kazu. Will hold on to it and freeze it. So Last Dance establishing the zone, getting a nice cycle going. Not able to get a goal on that one, but a couple of opportunities. 3 shots here so far in this first period for them. And it looks like EXEN going to take an early pause here. Last Dance getting close to that full pressure meter as you get a quick look at the stats. Just a 3-second difference in time on attack, 149 to 146. But Last Dance, they have had all the shots, 3 compared to none so far for EXEN. That one shot earlier didn't count as a registered shot on net, so EXEN still searching for their first true opportunity as Last Dance win the offensive zone faceoff. It's controlled by Eki over at the corner. Goes to Nicky Dangles and gives it back to Eki. Up to Lundstrom at the point. Shot on. Blockered away by Kazu once again. Dangles over at the right corner. Looking to create some space for a pass or shot. Gives it down to Puanzo, but that's intercepted by Domi. Nicky Dangles gets it back. However, shot was denied there. Puck checked off his stick before he could get it off. Yamal moving forward from the point. Gives it to Puanzo. Romet hits the post. Puck loose in front, found by Nicky Dangles. Another shot there, blocked aside by Kazu. Full pressure this time for Last Dance. Nicky Dangles moves it to Lundstrom. To Yamal, back to Lundstrom. Lundstrom looking on, rifle boarded away by Kazu. Another shot from Eki, blocked in front. EXEN trying to keep calm defensively, but Last Dance is moving it right now. And Last Dance get off on the right foot in game 3. A 1-0 lead. And you get a look at the cams here. We love to see these cameras this time of year. That's how you know it's a big stakes playoff game, folks, when you got the face cams up at the bottom of the screen. You see some happy faces there for Last Dance. As we get things back underway, Last Dance with a 1-0 lead. A little bit over 2 minutes to go here in period 1. 8 shots to none so far. As here comes Last Dance down the other end again as Nicky Dangles trying to put on a move but was offside. And his old teammate Ndomi telling him what's what, puts on a big hit there to end that play. Those two playing together for multiple seasons with H-Reds, won 3 or 4 titles together there. As EXEN will take over possession after winning that neutral zone face-off, and it'll be Domi getting things set up for the offense. It's in the neutral zone and gives the Vanguard a penalty going to be called against Last Dance, so a power play coming up for EXEN. So it will be Puanzo heading to the box. I believe it was an interference call, a bit of a hit on Piketty there when he didn't have the puck. As that puck is loose, and Nicky Dangles is going to be the first to get to that. As he shoots it, it hits off the side of the net. That would have been a creative shot to try to kick that off the back of Kazu and in, but another penalty going to be called. It's going to be against Last Dance once again. Lundstrom this time heading to the box. So a 5-on-3 power play coming up for EXEN. Just 6.5 seconds to go. So this will more than likely follow them into the second period unless they score here. As a from Hermu, denied by Hanselinho. The first shot of the day there for EXEN, but nevertheless, that will do it for the opening 20 minutes of play. Last Dance with a 1-0 lead over EXEN, but that penalty kill gonna have to do some work coming into the second period. A 5-on-3 power play for EXEN and a good amount of time left on it, as well as you got to look at some of the opportunities there from both. But that goal right there that you saw from Lundstrom, space over on that blocker side, buries that one-timer and gives Last Dance that 1-goal advantage that we hold. Remember that you saw those stats there when EXEN had that pause, how even the time on attack was. Now 415 to 159 in favor of Last Dance. And you know, again, that's really been the big challenge for EXEN, especially in game number 1. Not just denying Last Dance of offensive opportunities, but being able to consistently create their own. In game number 2, they did a good job of adjusting and being able to find their way to some more zone time, finding their way to more shots on net, but that's not carried over so far to start out game number 3, but they have a minute-plus long 5-on-3 power play. Could this be the golden opportunity they've been searching for as the shot on net from Krike is stopped by Hanselinho. Another offensive zone face-off here coming up for EXEN. EXEN in the offensive zone. Krike gives it up at the point. Banger controlling it. Loose pass. Did not get that pass across to Piketty cleanly, but Banger still controls it at the point. Now the Domi. Domi at the face-off. Hanselinho. He denied Krike on that one, the leading goal scorer for this EXEN team. Talked about how phenomenal Krike has been. Second in the division in goals in the regular season. Had 42 in total, 38 of them with this EXEN team as that shot was blocked. And both Lundstrom and Puanzo out of the box, but back on the penalty kill. Last Dance will go. Another penalty called against the 1 seed. This time it'll be Yamal the man. And Last Dance, they've seen enough in terms of the energy drain. They're going to have to call a timeout here and also kill off that full pressure meter there for EXEN, as they already have 4 shots on net and now 2:37 of time and attack. So EXEN's starting to push. They're capitalizing on some of these mistakes that Last Dance have made. The big question is, can they get themselves a goal and really take full advantage of it? That's the defensive zone face-off won by Last Dance. Puanzo puts on a move, couldn't get the shot off. Wait. Hit the back iron. Puanzo just grinding away and somehow keeping possession. And so far, Last Dance have been the ones with more time with the puck than EXEN have had. EXEN have it now in the offensive end. They're working at the point to Domi. Domi to Banger. Banger trying to give it over to Krike, but that pass intercepted and dumped out. 30 seconds to go on his man advantage, and this power play less successful so far than the previous one for EXEN. Domi gets it past the blue line. Gives up to Hermu. Up to Wenger at the point. Over to Krike for the one-timer. Stopped by Hanselino. As they were able to clear that out, was Last Dance's back to even strength. Yamal gets it. He leads this team and he leads the league in points for a reason. You see a wide smile on the face of old Nicky Dangles. You see a little celebration from Hanselino there as well. And you take another look at the replay. Last Dance dumping that puck out, and it was right as Yamal came out of the penalty box. He gave the puck a chase, got to it first, was patient enough to wait for Nicky Dangles, who created that space, was right where he needed to be to collect that pass. Kazu not able to get to that left post. And Last Dance with a 2-goal advantage over EXEN. 2-0 lead in the game, 2-0 lead in the series. They almost lost that lead in the game there as a beautiful stop by Hanselino on that shot in front. And an offside called as Last Dance looking to make a quick counterattack there. 13 minutes plus to play in period number 2, almost halfway through this game. Last Dance with a 2-0 lead after the goal by Nicky Dangles. Nicky Dangles with his 5th goal of these playoffs, 22 points so far in this postseason run. He has a breakaway here, and Kazu shuts the door with that left pad. Keeping EXEN alive in this one. They have got to find a way to reward their goaltender. That's been the struggle for them. They have it in the opposite zone. Up. His 3rd goal of the series. The rookie steps up for his team. And all of a sudden, EXEN cuts the lead down to 1. And you see a couple of the cameras there. Both Picardy and Wenger are locked in, trying to pull off this comeback. And the Last Dance lead cut from 2-1. A big goal there from EXEN, exactly what the doctor ordered. Is they have it in the offensive zone again, but Picardy not able to hold on to it. And here comes Nicky Dangles past the blue line and gives it back to Eki. Eki trying to feed Nicky Dangles, but picked off by Domi. Past the halfway mark of this game, a 2-1 scoreline. The 2 goals from Last Dance scored by Landstrom and Nicky Dangles. While the goal we just saw there from EXEN scored by Hermu, his 3rd goal of this series. The shot from the point from Wenger was blocked, and here comes Palazzo. He has some speed. He has the break. Do yet again. A delayed penalty called against EXEN. Last Dance, a power play coming up. It will be Domi who's the guilty party. He will head to the box. As we get a look at the infraction here. And boy, that looked rather harmless, just kind of battling over by that right post, and assuming they're going to tag Domi for an interference here. So, an unfortunate call there for EXEN, but their penalty kill did have to step up. They dump it, and Hermu actually gets to that first, so that's going to kill a little bit more time as he's tied up at the boards. And now Last Dance looking to operate and take advantage of the numbers. Hermu still coming back into the play. Nicky Dangles trying to pass it across to Eki, but picked off by Hermu. And how good has Hermu been for EXEN rather, in this series? Last Dance, they've been able to kind of slow down Krike a little bit, but Hermu has picked up that scoring. That's a one-time shot from Nicky Dangles, plugged in by Kazu. Last Dance still pushing. Landstrom has it. Denied again by Kazu. That time it was Palazzo over at that right post who had it. Landstrom at the left point, looking, skating forward, can't get the shot off cleanly, as coming out of the box will be Domi, and EXEN successfully kill off that penalty. They're back to even strength, and EXEN take over possession. Less than 5 minutes to play here in period number 2. Have it in the offensive zone now. Picardy controls it, trying to get towards the high slot, passed over to the corner and found first by Eki, and given over to Landstrom. Dangles over at the right wall, gives it back to Landstrom. Eki, nice toe drag, shot almost blocked by Picardy, but Eki gets it back, trying to move it to the point, but that pass was off and will force a reset. Controlling it here is Yamal. With the right boards, and Nicky Dangles both trying to get that for Last Dance, but it finds its way to Eki, and it's turned over. Here comes EXEN down the other end, approaching the 90-second mark here in period number 2. Domi at the left point, shot was denied by Eki. Got his stick on that before Hanselino can get to it. Last Dance with it in the neutral zone. Less than 30 seconds to play. Dangles goes down low and finds Yamal. Yamal behind the net, works it up to Eki at the point. Lundstrom will be credited with the goal, and you see Yamal and Angelino celebrating on the camera. This Last Dance team, they are having a good time. You've kind of seen some of the tweets on Twitter from their Twitter account, their party chats, and laughing and joking around. You see a little bit of it in action right there, but you get a look at that goal. Lundstrom, his second goal of the game. I said it was tipped in front. It actually hit in off of a skate. With one of Last Dance's players in front, so not an official tip. It will be Lundstrom who gets credited with that goal. Goal number 2 for number 2. And Last Dance with a 3-1 lead at the end of the second period. Here's a closer look at it right here. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. It hit in off of the skate of Puanso, who looked to be camped out in front, potentially looking for that tip play. We've seen Last Dance utilize that play a little bit throughout the years. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. Just hits in off of that left skate blade of Puanso. You see it right there, that right skate of Puanso just hits in off of him. Lundstrom gets credited for the goal, his second of this game. And how about this for Lundstrom? Goal number 3 for him in the playoffs. Not often you see the defenders get a whole lot of goals, but especially in just a few games. But you take a look here at some of the stats through 2 periods. Last Dance, 14 shots compared to 7 for EXEN. Nearly 2 full extra minutes of time on attack as well. 6 minutes and 47 seconds compared to 4 minutes and 53 seconds for EXEN. And I think the big stat for EXEN, 0 for 3 on the power play so far. Including a 5-on-3 is get another look at the cameras. All these players dialed in and knowing the importance of this game for your Last Dance. Currently a 3-1, a 2-0 series lead as well, trying to put a stranglehold on this match. We do want to make sure we shout out our sponsors as well when we have the chance. Over on Lockman Game Changer and Wellnet, a big thank you to them for their generous support as Kazu made a save there on that shot. Last Dance go have possession. Wenger trying to pass that across Puanso, but a nice job from Wenger denying that play. Picardy gets it over on the pass from Hermu and moves it up to the point. Domi to Picardy, trying to get a pass in front, but Last Dance puts that possession to a halt. And Yamal now controlling it here in the neutral zone. From behind, but Eki able to get it back for the moment. Puck loose over to the opposite sideboard now. It's found by Puanso. Lost by Nicky Dangles, and Domi gets it and moves it up for EXEN. EXEN needs to find the goal here soon to get something going their way. Could this be? Yeah, Picardy get in off the post and beats Angelino. And EXEN, for the second time, have cut this lead down to 1. A 3-2 score. As you get another look at the replay, and Angelino just didn't really move with Picardy over to that right post. Gave him a little bit of space. Used that post to his advantage. That post can often be a goalie's best friend, denying opportunities that maybe you can't get to, but that time around, stabbed Angelino in the back a little bit there. Turned heel and sided with Picardy. And it gives EXEN their second goal of this game and cuts that lead down to 1. So a 3-2 score. And Last Dance with possession, trying to find that goal back. He dumps it down low and Lundstrom gets it. Moves it up to Yamal at the right wall. Oh, so it is one-timer stopped by Kazu. He also gets it back. Moves it down low to Nicky Dangles, who gives it up to the point to Yamal. Yamal gets it back down low to Eki at the right corner. Eki to Nicky Dangles behind the net. Couldn't hold on to that pass, but instead Puanso will get it. Big hit there taken by Puanso, and that leads to a turnover. Here comes EXEN. Hermu to Picardy, trying to find a pass across. And ends up going to Domi. Domi to Wenger at the high point. Over to Krike. Haven't heard much from Krike so far in this game. Could he be the one to tie this up for EXEN? A shot from the point goes wide. Possession picked up by Last Dance, and they move it forward to Nicky Dangles. Past the blue line. Oh, Puanso shot on, was blocked aside by Kazu. It's able to stop that possession for now as Wenger gets it and moves it over. And Domi will now take this up. Finds Peacock, splits the defense. Peacock looking for space, but a nice defensive play from Yamal. And Yamal moving up with speed, has Puanzo with him, and a tripping call going to go against Vanguard. A power play coming up for Last Dance. With a 1-goal lead, 7:52 to play in regulation. A potentially season-defining penalty kill here for EXEN. Can they make it happen? Last Dance working in the offensive end. The ball controls it at the right corner and gives it blocked. And Last Dance capitalize on the power play. And the lead back up to 2 just like it never left. And you take another look at it. Just too much space for Lundstrom over at that high slot, and that's going to be a play that EXEN looks back on, and they're not going to be happy with the defensive formation that they were in. Just way too much space for a player that scored 2 goals already in this game. And Lundstrom able to put Last Dance back up by a pair with less than 7 minutes to play as an offside called against Last Dance, and they look on their way to potentially go up 3-0 in this series. Still 6:28 to play here, and EXEN only down by 2, but they are going to have to act and act fast. No toll-free number to call with this one. This is all on their own doing. They are going to have to find 2 goals and realistically 3 to close the gap in this series. Last Dance able to put that offensive possession to a halt, and here they go on the counterattack. Puanzo and Eki move it forward. Eki trying to pass it back to Puanzo. It ends up finding him. Eki gets it back, trying to get that forehand shot. Got Kazu to move, but that foot check from behind stopped the play. As Nicky Dangles got it, and that pass goes awry to force a reset for Last Dance, but they're fine with that, up by 2. And approaching the 3-minute mark. They don't need more goals. They just have to kill this time off without allowing EXEN to get anything. It's a stop. And a dance from some of the Last Dance players. If we get an interview with them, do not think we're not going to ask about the origin of that little dance right there. They're doing it after every goal. The shot there, gloved in by Hanselinho. Less than 2 minutes to play, and Puanzo with a breakaway. Kazu. And say what you will about the result of this game for EXEN, but Kazu has not had much to do with it. 14 saves on 19 shots. He's done his part. Just Last Dance, a team not to be denied. 40 seconds to play here in game 3. As a shot there from Nicky Dangles, but not angle, stopped by Kazu. Make that save, number 15. That's a beautiful spin move from Peacock, but just a hair offside. 34.5 seconds to play. Last Dance with a 5-2 lead in this game. Look well on their way to going up 3-0 in this series. And man, for EXEN, dire straits here, and you just kind of have to wonder, where's the morale and the mindset of this team right now? Down 3-0 in this series, and neither game particularly close, as Lundstrom tried to get a little fancy there with the Michigan move, but wasn't able to convert on it, as a penalty going to be called against Prique for a tripping. We'll see if Last Dance even really try to go on the power play, and a high-class move. They're just going to let this time kill off, and EXEN not going to bother chasing it. Last Dance with a 5-2 victory as with 0.2 seconds left. Hanselinho came out of the net and leads to that stoppage, so the face-off done, and so is game number 3. Last Dance, a 5-2 win. They take a commanding 3-0 series lead, and it's all smiles. They're the number 1 seed. See Puanzo laying back in his chair. Eki with the smooth NHL varsity jacket. See Hanselinho with some fist pumps down there at the bottom middle screen. And Nicky Dangles, he's still locked in. You can only see half of his face. He's got the whole chair behind him, leaning forward right onto that monitor. And locked into what's happening is we'll bring you back into the booth. Last Dance, a 5-2 win. They take a commanding 3-0 seriously. Brandon and Bigsby with you, better known as B Major. And gonna be interesting to see what happens here with this game for Last Dance. As we have seen many times, the vibes are high, they're feeling good, they're playing well, executing on everything. On the other side, for EXEN, they know their season is on the line. They've had such a magical run, and really no matter how this thing ends for them, it's not going to be something that they should hold their heads on too much. This was a team that last season had championship expectations. This was supposed to be the minimum for them, was making the semifinals. They barely squeaked into the playoffs, got bounced in the quarterfinals in 5 games, and that was a disappointment for them. Retooled some things with the roster, struggled at the beginning of this season, were last in the standings during week 1, and were able to come back and find their way to a number 4 seed, won a round against the finalists from a season ago, and have made it to the semifinals here. Obviously, their season not done yet, but are going to have to win 4 straight games against Last Dance. And man, if they can do it, it will be one of the most stunning comebacks that we have ever seen in the history of the ECL. We'll see if they can pull it off. It all starts with step 1, which is this game number 4 coming up. Before we do get there, we're going to take a short break, hear a word from our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll have the start of game number 4. Last Dance looking to punch their ticket into the finals. EXEN looking to pull off the turnaround of all turnarounds. Who's going to make it happen? We'll find out here in just a few minutes. Do not go away. We'll be right back after this short break.
Welcome to the SportsGamer Health and Performance Program. Nice to have you here. Here you have a large amount of different workouts from Wellnet, but also material just exclusive for you gamers. In your sessions, we focus mostly on neck and shoulder mobility, back health, and concentration. So give it a try and let us know what you think about it.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
We are back and ready to go for game number 4. Thank you all for staying patient and sticking with us. As you see, EXEN and Last Dance ready to go. We are again watching from the perspective of Last Dance, up 3-0 in the series after a 5-2 game 3 win. They're wearing their white road uniforms with the black pants, while EXEN wearing their all black and purple home jerseys, as EXEN looking to keep their season alive. Last Dance looking to punch their ticket into the finals. Last Dance in the offensive end, trying to work a offensive possession. Puanso's shot was blocked in front, but they're still pushing as EXEN's struggling right now to get it out of their own zone. It's controlled by Wenger behind the net, given over to Krike, but an offside going to be called there as Lundstrom got a piece of that puck, and Last Dance never got all 5 back into the neutral zone. Neutral zone face-off here between Eki and Picardy. Tied up and found by Krike. So EXEN trying to find some offense here. They've not scored more than 2 goals in any game so far this series, while Last Dance, 5 goals, 7 goals, 5 goals. Those have been the tallies for them in the first 3 games of this series. Looking for goal number 1 here in this one, but was denied by Kazu. As Nikki Dangles has it over at the right wall. Pass in front there. Disrupted. Another shot. They got it back. Nikki Dangles, he doesn't have to see the puck, and he can still put it in the back. And you see Nikki Dangles with the goggles, Yamal and Hanselino with the dances. The vibes are high with this Last Dance team. They are just loving life. Everything about it is flowing for them. They kick off the scoring here in game number 4, not even 5 minutes in. 4:22 into this game. Nikki Dangles pots another goal on Last Dance's 3rd shot of the game, and EXEN trying to respond for a goal of their own. They have it in the offensive zone. Shot from Krike was stopped by Hanselino. He plays that out, and now Last Dance looking to push the issue forward. Eki controls it over at the left wall. Pass shot in front there from Nikki Dangles was stopped by Kazu. And now here comes EXEN trying to work down the other end. Krike with it over at the right boards. Pass in front, puck loose. Found, however, by Yamal. Moves it up to Puanso and now to Nikki Dangles. Nikki Dangles at the right wall. Holds it, gives it to Eki at the point. Eki back to Nikki. Nikki to Yamal, back to Nikki Dangles. Over at the right face-off circle and gives it to Lundstrom at the point. Lundstrom had a hat trick in game number 3. I would love to know the numbers on the last defenseman to have a hat trick in a playoff game. It's very rare that that happens, but Lundstrom was able to do it. Led his team to that game 3 win. As a shot there from an odd angle. Kazu trying to get to it, and he does, and he'll hold on there for the whistle. 5-1 in shots already in favor of Last Dance. An offensive zone draw coming up for Last Dance. They win it. Nikki Dangles couldn't hold on to that puck, however, on the tie-up, and Wenger will slow things down and set the offense for EXEN as Domi gets it, but could not hold on to it past the blue line, and here comes Last Dance down the other end. Puanso puts on a move, has a goal! Puanso beats Kazu on the glove-hand side, and everything's working for Last Dance. It is a party for this group. As you take another look at the goal, the nice little move with that forehand, a lot of space there in that slot area. Last Dance, they have been able to capitalize on that. EXEN have not necessarily closed in the middle of the ice as well as they could on a couple of plays. We saw 1 or 2 of the goals from Lundstrom were just, shots to where they gave a lot of space in that slot area. We saw it in game 1 a little bit as well, and that was a situation where Puanso was able to just kind of walk in and took advantage and puts in the back of the net a 2-0 lead for Last Dance, and they may not be done. They have it in the offensive zone right now, but that pass over from Eki turned over, and here comes Krike down the other end, but a poke check from behind gets that puck off his stick. EXEN controlling it here. Turned over in the offensive end as Eki moves it over to Nicky Dangles. Turned over there on the pass across Palazzo, and Nicky Dangles trying to work something. A tip in front there. Cosby able to get to that one. A shot from the far point. Krike finds Domi in the offensive end for EXEN. Moving forward, trying to find some space in the slot. Could not, so he goes to Wenger at the high point, and that's going to force a reset. So that pass went awry. And an offside called as EXEN not able to get organized to move it past the blue line. Over halfway through this opening period, a 2-0 lead for Last Dance. The two goals from Nicky Dangles and Puanzo, the two star wingers of this Last Dance group, showing their goal-scoring prowess to start this game. As we get towards the 2-minute mark in this opening frame, Last Dance trying to set the offense, but a turnover. Breakaway for he scores! How good has Hermu been in this series? Another goal for him. His fourth of the series and cuts the lead down the one for EXEN. And they're looking to tie it up here as they have it in the offensive zone, but it's turned over. Last Dance trying to move forward quickly as Puanzo had it, but it's lost. Nice defensive play there made by Wenger. And that's exactly what what EXEN needed. Last Dance having a 2-goal lead, but just don't allow them to get too far away. Keep yourself in a good distance. Give yourself a puncher's chance. You never know what can happen as EXEN hold on to that puck as the final seconds trickle down. And that will do it for the opening period. Last Dance with the first 2 goals, but EXEN keeping themselves around. That is what they have done all season long. They keep themselves around and give themselves a chance. They do so there at the end of the period with a goal from Hermu as you get another look at it there. The turnover leading that breakaway, and Hanselino not able to make the save. I want to talk about Hermu a little bit because he is somebody that is a rookie for this EXEN team. 43 points, 23 goals in your first Elite Division season. Not too shabby. Spent a slight bit of time with Polski boys back in the ECL 23 spring season, back when Polski boys were in the Pro Division. Won the championship that season, but he only played 2 games in the regular season and 2 games in the playoffs during that run. His last full-time ECL season prior to that, all the way back in ECL 12 in the light division. Played with Philadelphia Academy. And interestingly enough, guess who was on that team? Ardo, the star winger for Parasite. Interesting to see how some of those Philadelphia Academy players have really gone on to have great careers in the Elite Division, but it's been a long time since we've seen Hermu play a full season. This is his first ever Elite Division season. He's been impressive for this EXEN team. Has not gotten a whole lot of fanfare, but someone that definitely deserves to get some recognition for how he has played, not just in the season, but in these playoffs. As for those wondering, by the way, ECL 12 all the way back in the summer of 2021, so 4 years ago, is Last Dance draw a penalty and are working in the offensive end. This is Eki controlling it, trying to move it over to Nicky Dangles for the one-timer, but that pass disrupted. Last Dance still pushing, however. Lostrom moves it around as this is Hanselino controlling it and gives it up to Lostrom at the point. As trying to pass it across there was Yamal, but that was picked off, and Picardy will be the one heading to the box. A power play coming up here for Last Dance, up by a goal and looking to get their 2-goal lead back that they had earlier. Tied up and won by Last Dance, but not able to hold on to it for long as it's dumped out, and Hanselino just going to get that one over in the corner and allow his teammate to pick that up. As Nicky Dangles, a bit of a skate ahead there of Yamal, and now lead to an offside call. 1:23 to go on this man advantage for Last Dance. 15:38 to go here in period number 2. Zone face-off, won back by EXEN, but not able to hold on to it as Domi was hit off of that puck. Guanto over to Yamal, skating for a shot on, blocker to side by Kazu. Big hit there taken by Hermu as he received that pass. It leads to a turnover. Last Dance working in the offensive end again. Nikki Dangles over to Lundstrom. Lundstrom holding it at the high left point, looking for space. A nice job from EXEN shutting that middle down right now as the shot was blocked, and that's going to allow them to clear this thing out. A stellar penalty kill for EXEN, exactly what they needed. It's Picardy now out of the box, and we're back to even strength. As Wenger will pick this puck up and set up the offense for EXEN. Hermu gets it, trying to pass it across, but gets it back. Back to Domi at the point, to Wenger. Wenger at the high right point, gives it back to Domi. Domi looking around over by the left wall, gives it back to Wenger at the right side. Wenger just not able to find a passing option. They're holding it around at that point, but it's just nothing to move it over to the forwards. As you can see right there, they find a chance there with Picardy, gets a shot on, but Anselino there forward, and he'll hold on for the stoppage. 10:49 to play here in period 2, almost halfway through this game 4. Last Dance holding on to their 1-goal lead. Puanzo and Nikki Dangles with the 2 goals. Hermu with the most recent goal, and EXEN's lone score so far of this game. But here's a chance for EXEN. Backhand shot from Krieke, stopped by Anselino. He'll play that out, and Last Dance end up getting possession, and we'll move it up quickly. Watso has it, holding it backhand behind the net and gives it over to Nikki Dangles. Over to Lundstrom, one-time shot, brushed aside by Kazu. Lundstrom in control of it for now, but poke checked off his stick, and here comes Krieke. Has plenty of help with him to his left. Has passed the cross in front, could not hit him cleanly in Last Dance. Create the turnover and work it down the other end. As a pass for Nikki Dangles, Puanzo leads to a shot and save. Another chance potentially as Nikki Dangles gets at the left corner, finds Zeki for the shot, stopped by Kazu. Full pressure for Last Dance. Yamal at the right point, has some space. Looking for a pass and goes to Nikki Dangles and gets it back. Yamal at the right point, trying to feed Nikki Dangles. Backhand shot, another shot in front of me, score! Eddie, the cat puts it in. He's hyping up the crowd in front of him. And similarly to game number 3, Last Dance turn a 1-goal lead to a 2-goal lead. As you get another look at it here, that puck just trickling right in front, and Eki, right in Eki's playground, in front of the net, in the slot. We see him so many times score from that slot area, whether it's a tip play, whether it's a rebound. That's kind of become his area, really. I mean, you could really just name it Eki's office, and it would be rather fitting. He's made a home there, and he scored a lot of goals there over the years. He does so there. A 3-1 advantage for Last Dance. As EXEN down by 2 in the late stages of the second period, and now things starting to get a little bit scary for them. Down by 2 in this game, and potential elimination game for them, being down 3-0 in this series. As Last Dance have it in the offensive end again. They're looking to really close the deal here as they're working around with this cycle. Lundstrom tried to give it over to Nikki Dangles, but could not hit him on that pass. But EXEN turned it over towards their own blue line, and Last Dance is right back on the attack. Wanso gives it down low to Nikki Dangles and gives it back to him. Toe drag moves, finding Nikki Dangles. The shot was stopped by Kazu. And Last Dance, their possession going to come to a halt. Less than a minute to play. EXEN trying to push it forward. Krieke had it for just a second, but lost possession. And Nikki Dangles now has it over at the right wall. Trying to put on a move, but could not get his way past Wenger. 5 seconds to go. Eki with it. Pass in front. The shot from Yamal goes wide. And that will end period number 2. Last Dance extend their lead 2-2, a 3-1 lead on the goal from Eki. A goal from all 3 of their forwards in this one. Nikki Dangles kicked it off, Puanzo followed it up, and we just saw Eki, this goal right here, picking that puck right in front of that blue pane and just putting it in past Kazu. That's Last Dance just 20 minutes away from dancing into the final. And you see the stats, 4 shots to 13 in favor of Last Dance. 3:52 of time on attack to 9:42 in favor of Last Dance. And that's really just been the unfortunate story for EXEN. in this series, really outside of game 2. I mean, you go back and just kind of look at some of the games that we've seen between these two in the series. It's been that way for EXEN. They've allowed a lot of goals, they've allowed a lot of opportunities. I mean, in game 1, the shots were 23-8 with Last Dance doubling their time on attack, and then in game 2, despite a 7-3 loss, it was a little bit tighter as we're back underway here for period 3, 16-15 shots. And EXEN had more time on attack as they're trying to get some more right now. But in game 3, we saw how Last Dance dominated the stats, and they're doing so again here in period number 3 of game number 4. Just trying to hold on to this 2-goal lead. EXEN trying to extend their playoff run by at least one more game. They're going to have to find a pair of goals and then some. The pass to Picardy leads to an offside call. 17-16 to play. And we'll get a neutral zone face-off here coming up between Picardy and ECE. It's tied up and won by Last Dance, dumped in the offensive zone, and an icing going to be called. So an offensive zone draw here coming up for EXEN. We're looking to find their offense a little bit. Just 4 shots on net so far in this game. Face off to the right side of Hanselinho. Offensive zone draw, won by EXEN. Hermu gets to it on the tie-up and moves it to Wenger at the point. Shot on. Looks like it doesn't register as an official shot on net, but was near Hanselinho, and Last Dance able to get it out of their own end as Nicky Dangles gets to that puck in the right corner, moves it to Lundstrom at the point. On the pass from Yamal, trying to find ECE in front, couldn't hit the pass. Shot from Puanzo was denied by Kazu. EXEN trying to get out of their own end, not able to yet. ECE pass in front to Nicky Dangles was denied by Hermu, and here comes EXEN down the other end, but they turn it over, trying to cross that blue line. Here comes Last Dance down the other end. Puanzo at the right wall. Over to ECE. ECE at the right corner. Gives it up to Lundstrom at the left point. Over to Nicky Dangles, one-time shot, saved by Kazu. Last Dance just working it around the offensive end. Puanzo gets another pass from ECE, moves it to Yamal. Back to Puanzo with the point, shot on, blockered aside by Kazu again. Full pressure here for Last Dance. ECE at the right point. Holding on to it over at the right wall, gives it to Nicky Dangles, tried to pass it across, but intercepted by Hermu. And EXEN on the attack down the other end. Krieke bump from behind, trying to hold on to that puck, but it's turned over. And Last Dance on the counterattack, just like that. Nice poke check, and a 3-on-0, a breakaway here with Domi. Shot on, stop. Leo, another shot, one save from Hatsu. Holy moly, Hanselinho standing his head, another save from Hanselinho. That's one swept aside. Full pressure here for EXEN. Pass in front of a score. Krieke puts it in, finally beating Hansu. He had 2 phenomenal saves, another one right after, but the 4th time strikes for EXEN. They cut the lead down to 1 with less than 8 minutes to play, and a little bit of life here for the number 4 seed trying to mark that comeback. Puanzo up the left boards with speed over to Nicky Dangles, loses possession. Hermu with it behind the net, and Domi gets it for EXEN. Wenger now moving it forward into the neutral zone. EXEN moving with some pep in their step right now. Puck loose in front, found by Picardy. Hermu over at the right wall, looking, gives it to Wenger at the point. Now to Domi. Domi holding it, looking, over at that high left face-off circle and goes to Krieke. Just got that 2nd goal for EXEN, and they need one more. A tripping call against Last Dance, and EXEN will head to the power play, down by 1 with less than 5 minutes to play, and they have a man advantage coming up. Now remember, they were 0 for 3 in game 3 just now. The biggest power play of their season right here. Can they capitalize? They're moving in the offensive zone now. Domi gives up to Wenger at the high point. Skates forward, looking for space, trying to find the play. Wenger still controlling it, gives it to Domi. holding on to it, just not able to get it to the forwards. Domi and Wenger are forced to just move it at the point, and Last Dance totally fine with that, avoiding any dangerous opportunities, but Last Dance not able to clear it. Krieke controls it and gives it back to Wenger, and the Domi shot on tip, potentially in front, but not able to beat Hanselinho. That pass intercepted there, but not able to clear it again. Another shot. That time it was blocked in front. 20 seconds to go on the power play. Another chance for EXEN. Last Dance still not able to clear it out. Has a shot in front there, but it goes wide. It was poked from behind. And finally, Last Dance able to dump it as Nicky Dangles comes out of the box. And Last Dance successfully kill off the power play of EXEN, but EXEN with plenty of momentum rolling offensively. Approaching the 1 minute mark, the shot from Hermu, stop from Hanselinho. And looks like Last Dance going to pause and take a timeout. You get a look at the faces. Smiles on one side, you see Eki drying the hands a little bit. Lonsterman looks like in the in the surrender cobra position there, had both hands on top of his head, just taking a second to collect his breath while you see the pressure over on the left side for EXEN. Peekity communicating with his guys. You see Wenger over at the bottom right corner. EXEN, they know what is on the line. Potentially just a little bit over 58 seconds remaining in their season unless they can find 2 goals. 1 the tie, 1 the win. They win the offensive zone draw. Wenger loses it there, and here comes Nicky Dangles on the breakaway. Nicky Dangles shot Kazu, a massive save from the EXEN goaltender. Could that be a play we bookmark in this series? EXEN have it in the offensive zone, 40 seconds to play. They turn it over, and here comes Last Dance. Nicky Dangles has another chance. Slows it down this time and moves it to Puanzo behind the net. Last Dance just trying to kill off time, but they lose it in the offensive end. 26 seconds to go. EXEN needs a goal. Can they find it here? Peekity holding it, gives it to Krieke. His shot on a spinning backhand save by Hanselinho. 16 seconds now. Shot from the point, blocked in front. EXEN trying to push, trying to make something happen. It's dumped out by Last Dance. Nicky Dangles with a partial breakaway. He's going to hold on to that puck. 6 seconds to go. Down the 5. Last Dance with possession. And Last Dance are going to the division finals. They win in a sweep with a 3-2 victory over EXEN in Game 4. And a team that has been dominant all season. The stakes for this group, knowing that this is the last dance for Eki, and you see the dances and the celebrations on the webcams, the dances from Eki and Hanselinho and Yamal, the smiles from Nicky Dangles. Lundstrom getting a nice laugh out of it. And this group, a team that when you just see them, we mentioned it earlier, you see the tweets from them, the voice chats in the party, and they're just always having such a good time. They're enjoying every second of it, no matter what position they're in. And obviously, when you're winning as much as this group has won, and you're playing the way that they have this season, it's easy to have a good time. We haven't seen this team, we have to face too much adversity, but this is a group that it just feels like the vibes are always high. They never get too low. And when you have the skill that they have as we bring it back into the booth, I mean, you just look at the names in this lineup. Nicky Dangles on the right wing side, a 4 or 5-time champion in this division. Puanzo, someone that was a staple of those Havu teams. Hanselinho, another player who was a staple of those Hansu teams. Eki, who is a multi-time champion on both the 6v6 and the 1v1 side. And then you have Lundstrom and Yamal, a long-time defensive pairing who reunite here with this with this Last Dance team this season. And they go up against an EXEN team that had such a great run, struggled to start the season, were phenomenal from that point forward, knocked out the finalists from a season ago. This was not a guaranteed series by any stretch for Last Dance. I mean, EXEN, there was the feeling that they could not only push this series to 6 or 7, but they could very well maybe pull off the upset. Not to be. for this EXEN team. A phenomenal run, a phenomenal season for them comes to an end. You don't want that to get lost in the celebration and the praise that you have for Last Dance and just the work that they have put in this season. And a phenomenal run for EXEN that you felt like this team needed after the struggles last season, the disappointment of them being a championship contender that fell quite short of what they were looking for. They come back this season, put up a masterful regular season after those last 8 games, and unfortunately their run comes to an end here today. But what a run for Last Dance. The dance for this group gonna go a little bit longer, at least one final song for Eki and this group as we give you one final look at the bracket. And you can punch a ticket for Last Dance in the final. They sweep EXEN, a clean 4-game series for them. They now await the winner of Mythics versus Parasite. And there's just so many stories no matter what that matchup ends up being. Obviously, Parasite and Last Dance, I mean, you could maybe kind of consider that the old El Clasico series. It was Frölunda and Havu for a long time, or Philadelphia and Havu, depending on how long you've been watching. And it kind of turned into Frölunda and H-Reds, or Philadelphia and H-Reds. And when those two teams merged, Havu and Philadelphia, it always was H-Reds that team would match up against. So that Parasite team, kind of a mix of those H-Reds teams and the old Tunnel Vision teams that it kind of became. So this is going to be interesting no matter what happens. So you either get a lot of names that have played in the finals playing against each other with Parasite and Last Dance, or you get a team on their final run that has been around forever. You can't tell the story of this league and the division without them against a team that is trying to etch their place in ECL history and is trying to write their portion of this league story. A team in Mythics that have all of a sudden come onto the scene. A team that was not a championship contender for the longest time, really until the last 3 months. They won the FCL championship. Ironically enough, beat Parasite in the FCL championship. We saw Tombo on Twitter, if you follow him, or X rather, as they now call it, reference that. Had a little video clip saying that, kind of saying, hey, they got us that time, but we're not losing these guys again. So, you know, it's going to be interesting. If Mythics can do it again, you have the old guard against the potential new guard. But Last Dance, the story with them consistent, the #1 seed, the team that we know for sure one player could be on their last ride for an ECL Division Championship. Not sure on maybe some of the others, but nevertheless, a huge high-stakes finals for this Last Dance team. Whoever they play, it's going to be a fun series. It's going to be a tough competition. We're going to find out who that is right here on Wednesdays. Make sure you join us at twitch.tv/ReactioMedia. We will have the remainder of the series between #3 Parasite and #2 Mythics. Games 3 through 7. We will have our finals confirmed right here. Wednesday, start time, 19:15 CEST. If you're on the North American side of things like I am, that is 1:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Mythics and Parasite, they are tied at 1. One of these two teams will punch their ticket into the finals. And as we mentioned, this is a rematch of the Finnish Championship League finals where Mythics got the best of Parasite, won that series 3-2. Those FCL championships are best of 5. This one, a best of 7. So a little bit of history between these two teams. Could be interesting to see who can get the better of the other. Do we get the historic matchup of Parasite and Last Dance, or do we get something new and a team etching their place and cementing themselves as a new contender in this division in Mythics? You're going to find out, and you're not going to want to miss it. Remember, Wednesday, June 11th, 2 days from now, 19:15 CEST is when we will start. We'll have the pregame show and all the things that you need to set the table for that matchup. Puck drop scheduled to be at around 19:30 CST. So make sure you don't miss it. We'll be right here at twitch.tv/ReactioMedia, or you can find us live at our YouTube at ReactioMedia, or live on X at SportsGamerGG. So make sure you don't miss that. I'll be on the call with you again. A very fun series on tap for that, as we will bring you back into the booth one final time. Last Dance. They're dancing all the way to the finals. A clean sweep over EXEN. Congratulations to them. Congratulations to EXEN on what was an amazing run for them this season. And that is all for us here today, folks. Rather quick broadcast, just 2 games today, but Last Dance making our jobs a little bit lighter today. So you all enjoy the rest of your evening or your afternoon if you're on the North American side of things. A big thank you to Ken and the SportsGamer GG and the ECL staff for everything they do to make this league run behind the scenes. A big shout out to our amazing producer, Chris Ryan, making everything run the way it has on this broadcast, the best in the business, no question about it. A big thank you to our amazing sponsors, COVID on Lakudacy, Game Changer, and WellNet for their generous support of SportsGamer GG and the ECO. What we do would not be possible without them. Thank you all for spending your Monday evening with us. For everyone here at the ECL and SportsGamer, my name is B Major. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you right back here on Wednesday for the conclusion of Mythics versus Parasite. Last Dance is moving on to the ECL Elite Division Finals. Make sure you don't miss our coverage on Wednesday to find out who they will be facing off with those finals being Saturday. Thank you all for joining us, and have a great, safe, and healthy rest of your night.
Welcome to the SportsGamer Health and Performance Program. Nice to have you here. Here you have a large amount of different workouts from WellNet, but also material just exclusive for you gamers. In your sessions, we focus mostly on neck and shoulder mobility, back health, and concentration. So give it a try and let us know what you think about it.